Hey guys, and welcome back to Battlefront Updates. In this video I wanted to answer a question that a lot of you keep asking me. Is the Elite Trooper Deluxe Edition for Battlefront 2 worth it, and is the pre-order in general worth it? First off, I just wanted to say that I was a little bit hesitant about making a video right now about it, simply because we don't know everything about the next game. We don't know how the unlocks will work. We don't know how these epic abilities will work either, so it's very hard to give a clear yes or no regarding whether it's worth it or not. However, a lot of you have already pre-ordered the game, and a lot of you keep asking me if you should pre-order and which version you should pick. So I still thought it was worth discussing based on what we know so far. Let's quickly go over the different bonuses so we know what we're talking about. If you pre-order the game, no matter which version you pre-order, you will get exclusive Star Wars The Last Jedi themed looks for both Rey and Kylo Ren, and you will also get 2 epic ability modifiers for both Rey and Kylo Ren, and they mentioned that the one for Rey will allow you to control minds of enemies, and that the one for Kylo will allow you to freeze and pull opponents as you use the Force. And lastly, you also get an epic ability modifier for the Millennium Falcon and for a new First Order hero ship, which is most likely Kylo's new ship I talked about yesterday. So those were the pre-order bonuses, no matter which version you get. But now let's move over to the Elite Trooper Deluxe Edition. With it, you first of all get 3 days early access to the game, so you can play it on November 14th instead of the 17th, although you can play it even earlier than that with EA access and Origin access. On top of that, you get basically an upgrade pack for each class. This includes 1 weapon for each class, 1 epic ability, as well as 1 modification for the actual blaster. So that is what you get from the Deluxe Edition and from the pre-order, and keep in mind that the Deluxe Edition is $20 extra compared to the Standard Edition. So, are these pre-order and Deluxe Edition bonuses worth it? Well, let's break it down a little bit. First of all, something to note is that the only thing exclusive here in terms of content is the Last Jedi themed look for Kylo Ren and Rey. So everything else, both from the pre-order and from the Deluxe Edition, you can unlock in-game by playing, which I think is very good to hear, as that means that they aren't locking content behind a pre-order or paywall, and the fact that the skins are behind pre-order bonuses is completely fine by me. However, since we don't know how long these things are gonna take to unlock, it's very hard to know how good they're gonna be. If you think back about the previous game, the DL44 was included in the Deluxe Edition, and it was very powerful at launch, I won't deny that. It was actually almost a little bit pay to win, until they later on nerfed it, of course, but it was still something you could unlock yourself. So the extra $10 you spent on the last game was simply just to make it easier to play the game, and it did give you a little bit of an advantage the first couple of days after the release. So if we're talking about the pre-order bonus, I would say that yes, it is probably worth pre-ordering. However, I would argue that you should not pre-order the game right now, because there is not really any point in pre-ordering it right now, as you might as well pre-order 1 week before the release and still get the same bonuses, and by that time you will have seen gameplay. You will hopefully have played an alpha and beta, and at that point you can give the game a fair judgment and say, hey, do I want this game or not? Sure, you could wait even further after the release and wait for reviews and all that kind of stuff, but honestly, after the beta you will at least know how the gameplay is and if it's something you like. I just don't see the point in pre-ordering right now, especially since they haven't talked anything about a collector's edition, and if that's something they will eventually release, I definitely want to get it. So I don't want to lock up to something right now and then they reveal a couple of months from now that, hey, we're getting a really awesome collector's edition where you get something like an Inferno Squad helmet. Well, I'd buy that, definitely. So what about the Deluxe Edition in general? If you are gonna pre-order now, although I recommend waiting a little bit, I think by now it all depends on what kind of player you are. If you're like me, and you played hundreds of hours of the previous game and you know that you will play hundreds of hours of the next game because you just love Battlefront in general, well, in that case it might be worth it. Personally, I'd probably get the Deluxe Edition here, because it's gonna give me a good head start with a couple of good weapons and unlocks for all classes, which is basically gonna make the release of the game a lot smoother. And for me, those extra $20 is then worth it. But I don't think if you're just a casual player who plays a lot of games every year, you buy maybe 1 or 2 new games every month, at that point No, I don't think it's worth it. I think you should just play the game and unlock it in a normal pace. And that applies to actually most players, at least as far as I would say, because after maybe a week or so, you won't notice any huge difference, because most likely everyone would have had a chance to unlock these weapons by then, as long as they don't do a DL44 and all of these 4 weapons are like the last unlocks and the most powerful unlocks. I hope that's not gonna be the case, but that's the kind of thing we definitely have to wait and see at the release, and it's very hard to judge these individually right now. Like, if you knew that all of these weapons and epic abilities were really good and it would take weeks to unlock them normally, would it be worth it then? Yes, it would be worth it. Would it be good for the game? No, it wouldn't be good for the game. That's two completely different questions. But if I knew that these weapons were a lot better than everything else that is in the game by the launch and that you get during the early levels, well, then I would probably buy it. But in the end, nothing gameplay wise is exclusive, neither with the pre-order or the Deluxe edition. So if you're just a very casual player who just want to buy the game, try it out, have some fun, see if it's for you or not, I would really argue that you would get the normal edition. And if you want to pre-order, wait until just before the release, play potential alphas and betas, see if the game is for you, and then decide. Don't pre-order right now. But that is all for this video. I hope I had some good insights that might help you decide on how you're gonna approach the release of Battlefront 2. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, may the Force be with you.